Hello everyone, welcome back. Hope you're all doing well today. Got a brilliant episode lined up for you today. And we are online, which obviously reaches so many other people, which is fantastic. And I have got a guest with me today, but before I introduce her to you, I'm going to explain to you what the subject is. So first of all,
functioning in PeriMenopause.
Okay, so that's the subject. So we're going to talk about how the hell do you function in perimenopause, apart from just going to bed and hoping it's over within 5 minutes, which unfortunately it's not. But before we do that, I'm going to explain to you briefly what perimenopause is. I'm just going to break down the stages for you. So my opinion is that there's 4 stages. So there is perimenopause. There you are. It's a big word to say. Starts when you first get your cycle. So if you think about it, ladies, when you're born with approximately about 1 million eggs in your ovaries, okay? And when you get to your cycle, it literally halves how many eggs you've got. So already your body is changing. You start your period, and then every time you have a period and eggs are released, that number goes down. So what that means is at some point, there's going to be lack of estrogen, lack of progesterone, and lack of testosterone. So what that means is by the time you get to the age of 30, your eggs, your follicles, there's going to be less of them. Okay. So again, that means that you can have less of these substances, of these hormones in your body, which is why perimenopause can start ever so early and you won't even know that you're in it. Now, if you go to a doctor, at some point they will test you, and they'll test your FSH, which is your follicle stimulating hormone, or your LH, which is your luteinizing hormone, and that will give them an understanding of the hormonal levels. But they normally test this when you're quite late in your peri. So this whole transition of perimenopause can go on for about 8 to 10 years. So some women get perimenopause really early, okay? Some even in their 20s. But if you think about it, sometimes, as I mentioned, you don't even know that you're in it. These symptoms start and you'll go by your periods. I won't talk about the other symptoms because we're going to talk about that throughout today, but symptoms like heavy bleeding, missing periods, shorter periods, longer periods, completely irregular, all over the shop, clotting, lots of different types of periods going on, which is giving you the understanding that you are in perimenopause. But for some women, they don't have any periods. So what happens there? There's so much to talk about, but the idea of today is to really get to grips with how do you get yourself ready for perimenopause? How do you navigate that when you hit it? So we're going to be talking to a lady that absolutely has great vibes about her. I've seen her on Instagram and I thought we must get this lady on to chat to us today. And she actually works with perimenopause women. She's a health coach, and I'm going to introduce her now, and she's going to tell us as much as she can about how the hell you get through it. So let's welcome little Imogen in. I say little. I don't know if you're tall.
I'm not tall.
Hi, Imogen. How are you?
Hi, Sarah. I'm fine, thank you. It's nice to be here.
Oh, we're so happy to have you here today. Thank you for taking the time. It's really, really kind of you to come onto the podcast. And you know, the idea for today is that if anyone's listening, if they can pick up one thing from you, then that's a win-win, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I can talk about my own experiences and hopefully give some handy hints on the way. Give people some things to take away with them. Perfect.
So we always start off with a quiz.
Okay.
Wouldn't be menopause dinners without a quiz. So what we're going to do, we're going to shout out symptoms of perimenopause. Now, we've done the periods, so that would be a bit naughty to go through that again.
Mm-hmm.
Penalise each other for that one. But you can start if you want, and I'll follow your lead. Ready?
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
20 seconds start now.
Anxiety.
Joint pain.
Palpitations.
Problem sleeping.
Tinnitus.
Ooh.
10 seconds remaining.
Vertigo.
Constipation.
Nice. Depression.
4,
vaginal dryness.
Ooh.
3,
Hair problems.
2,
Yeah. Hair
1.
loss.
Time's up.
It's tough, isn't it, under pressure?
It is, and there's so many of them. We could have gone for hours with the list.
I think we could have done. We could have done a whole podcast on symptoms just by shouting them out, I reckon. And I do think there's quite a lot that we don't even know. All right, so I think our ladies at home would love to know about you. So why don't we just talk about, first of all, are you in a perimenopause? Are you there at the moment?
Okay, I am. I probably started in perimenopause in about 2019 when I was about 39. But it took a long time to get diagnosed. I don't know what the correct term is, for someone to confirm that this was what was going on. So I would say for 2 years I was in that strange limbo land of not really knowing what was going on. But I'm now 45, so we are, 6 years down the line, and I feel more settled in perimenopause. So I'm definitely there.
Okay,
and feel more knowledgeable. But it took a long time to get there, to know what was happening.
Well, that's really good, because I do think on these podcasts we haven't had many perimenopause. We seem to be attracting menopause and post, so this is really, really good for us. I am post-menopause. I say it's 3 years, but I've got a feeling I'm lying. I think it might be 4. But it's definitely 3 some days. It's brain fog. Oh, that's brain fog. See, we didn't say brain fog. We forgot it. Yeah. That's why. So let's talk about you professionally. What is it? Explain to everyone at home what you actually do.
Okay, so I am a health coach. I was working in universities when my children were young and COVID struck. And this is all very much linked to the perimenopause, but I hit a point where I thought I just cannot do this anymore. I cannot have small children and work. It just wasn't happening. So I left work, which is such a common thing that happens to women in perimenopause. I took some time out with the kids, and then began thinking, I think I'm at a point, I've got my HRT sorted. So I got to a point where I thought, I need to do something. I'm ready to do something. My brain is functioning now with my HRT. So I was scrabbling around, really, looking for something to do. I considered counselling, and I stumbled on health coaching, which really suited me because it is such a practical way of supporting people. So to my diploma, to my training, managed to get through that with the brain fog. And I now work with women who are feeling overwhelmed, who are feeling exhausted, perimenopausal, sort of late 30s, 40s. That's my real area of, interest. And we work together to help them boost their energy, to help them feel more in control, and just to get on top of all those health areas that we may neglect. So, things like stress and sleep, getting your nutrition in check, finding time to exercise, not necessarily sort of following, a complex health program, but just finding that time in your day to go and get to your class because you may feel too overwhelmed. So that's where I am, working with women and just sort of talking through what they need and helping them to create a plan for how to get there.
That sounds amazing. Good for you.
Thank you. Yes, I'm really enjoying it.
Would you say that it's helping you at the same time with your perimenopause?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it really is. I mean, I did some research recently and spoke to so many women just to find out a little bit more about what was going on for them. And if anything, it's made me sort of realize that we're all in the same boat, and that we're all struggling with the same things. And actually, one of the things that so many women need is that connection, and that just having time to get together with other women as well. And so I'm trying to do that a little bit more as well, and just not go through this journey as it is on my own, and just try to connect with other women and find out what's happening for everyone else as well.
Yes, it sounds great. It sounds great because
it's really interesting.
Like we talked about before we started recording, just the fact of talking to other women and getting to know other, what's going on with everyone else in their lives. And So you mentioned working. We've actually, when this comes out, there will be a podcast just before yours that is about working. And that's all about women changing their jobs. And that's a really, really interesting subject, actually.
I think it is. I think it seems so common now that women just can't deal with the symptoms when they're at, in the workplace. And I'm sure there's a lot of research in it, but there must be so many women leaving the workplace just because they're perhaps not supported. The symptoms are hard to handle when they're there. And I know that we have a lot of health coaches who go into businesses and do that, that menopause support and help workplaces understand what women need as well. So really fascinating area.
Yeah, it was a good topic, actually, really good. And the lady that come down, I'll just plug it for a second, was from ex-HR, and she's got lots of experience in that. So it was mainly talking about what should be happening in your workplace, and if it's not, what you can do about it. And then we talked about women changing their jobs. So if you haven't listened to that, definitely go back. But let's focus on today. So you really think that was the right route for you to go? Because health coaching, I think, is can be quite difficult, because obviously you've got your own problems on perimenopause, and you are going to be dealing with other people's problems. Some people can thrive off that, and some people can find that overwhelming. So why do you think you chose that particular profession?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it was having that opportunity to use my own experiences. Obviously in health coaching, we're not telling people what to do. We're helping them to explore what they need, to explore, what's going wrong and what they might need to help support them. But I think just having this personal knowledge of almost like the toolkit that I had to reach for to help me to navigate perimenopause. That's really interesting to me, is to help women to find what their toolkit is. So whether that is adding some more exercise in, improving, balancing blood sugar. We might touch on that later.
Yeah.
So I felt like my own experience could be really valuable to women. But I think also it was that because I hit perimenopause when I was sort of 38, 39, I really wanted to kind of reach out to those women at that stage of life. So, whether they've got young kids, whether they're at the top of their careers, whether they've got elderly parents, in your late 30s, 40s, you're juggling a lot, whatever your situation. And I wanted to use my experience and my knowledge to kind of promote that to women that, feeling a bit chitty, shouting at the kids, feeling a bit ragey. It might be perimenopause. It might not just be that, you're a bad mum or you're doing too much. Or so that's another area that I'm really trying to highlight is just how much this impacts women in their 30s, late 30s. And it isn't, menopause isn't just something that happens when you're mid-50s. Perimenopause goes on for a long time.
Yes. And, as I mentioned earlier, some women don't even know that they're in it.
Absolutely no.
It's like that when you have a period and you wonder to yourself, I'm feeling really grumpy. What's wrong with me? And then someone tells you you've got your period coming. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing with perimenopause. You can't see it. But it's just there. So typical client that would come to you, what are we talking about? Someone that is a certain age between the perimenopause. Do you get anyone that comes in that's in early perimenopause?
Loads that come in with early perimenopause. So I think I've had a lot of confused clients in that late 30s, 40s bracket who are, we've alluded to, feeling pretty awful. And so, yes, they would be my ideal client, late in their 40s, juggling too much, overwhelmed, snacking throughout the day to keep them going, relying on caffeine, sleeping badly, don't know what's happening, think they might be in perimenopause. And sometimes they just need a bit of coaching to work out where they go next. The chances are, and absolutely no disrespect to, the GPs out there who I know are completely overloaded, but the chances are they've been fobbed off by the doctor.
Yeah.
They've been told, you've got, I don't know, anxiety.
Yeah.
You might be a bit depressed. You've got too much going on. Maybe you need the contraceptive pill. That seems to be another one. So they're just in that flux of not knowing where they're going next. And often they just need that space. They need the space to chat through, what's going wrong? What do I actually need?
Yeah.
And how am I going to get there?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think by providing that space, they start to see things more clearly, because the chances are they've not talked to someone about this for a long time. They may have had a fleeting conversation with a friend, but no one sat down and listened and talked and helped them to see the path really about where they need to go and what it is that they need to feel better, start feel energized again.
No, I think you've hit the nail on the head, because sometimes, unfortunately, GPs have diagnosed women with depression or anxiety, and it's actually their perimenopause. And that's difficult, because it doesn't make a difference when they go on, if they do go on antidepressants, it doesn't make a difference. So there is a mixed communication. And I think it's really, really difficult if you have these symptoms and, like we've said before, they don't all come in a truckload. I mean, Christ, if they all come together, you wouldn't be able to move, would you? You wouldn't be able to move at all. But, they come sporadically, so you won't always have a hot flush. You won't always have a mood. It will be now and again, and so that could be seen as something else, right? Yep.
And then I know you mentioned the blood tests as well. I was looking at my blood tests. I was looking at, they were so awful that I was able to get diagnosed with perimenopause very quickly and given HRT straight away. There was no messing once we did those blood tests. But they can vary throughout the cycle. So it may be that you have a blood test on a day and everything shows up fine. So it's quite an inconclusive way to, sort of conclude what's happening for people. So I completely understand it's a tricky area to find out. But I think being able to trust your gut that there's something not right. There's something not.
I think you know your body. Yeah. And I always say to people, if you think something's wrong, then you need to advocate for yourself. And if the doctor you go to see doesn't listen to you, well, you can go and see someone else. You should be able to get some sort of understanding about what's happening with you. But it's a tricky time. And some women, when they're not in that age bracket and they come on, they go into their perimenopause, let's say in their 20s, it can happen. Again, they won't know anything about it because they won't have anyone around them going for it.
And also, the heartache. If you've got friends around you having children, getting married, and you're navigating an early perimenopause in your late 20s, that's a really difficult place to be. But I would love to see more recognition that, the average age of menopause is 45, 55?
Yeah.
But perimenopause is kicking in 10 years prior. So there are a lot of women in their late 30s, 40s whose symptoms are creeping in. And I'd love to see it just acknowledge that, this is, for many people, this is the norm.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I've always said that I think that we get educated at school about periods. We should have an education at some point. Like when you go for a smear test, they give you a leaflet maybe for you to read, because it's every woman needs to know about it. And lucky for them now, there's so much on socials. When me and my friend were going through peri, we didn't talk about it because and that was a while ago now. Obviously that I'm 21 21 every year, but that must have been about 14 years ago. I don't mind missing it. I'm 54, so we're going back a while then. If you think about how long we've come since then, it's changed. It's changed a lot, hasn't it, really?
It's changed so much. I think also for, for kids, for teenagers, female or male, they need to know what's happening in their house. If their mother is really crabby, it's good to have this understanding.
Yeah. That's right. You need to sit down with your kids and tell them, I'm not being an arsehole because I'm not an arsehole. It's because I can't control my hormones.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I completely
So just like we
agree.
understand teenage hormones, we just understand
No, I completely agree. So with the work that you do, because I love watching you on Instagram, Imogen. You come up, honestly, I'm a little stalker of yours. I just love watching you. You've got a lovely way with you. You're so friendly.
And it's not my natural habitat.
No, I'm sure you're nasty. I'm sure you're really nasty behind doors, but there's so many symptoms in perimenopause. But what do you like to focus on?
Oh, what do I like to focus on? I'm quite big on women prioritizing themselves. So that's probably a much broader thing than just perimenopause. But I think there is a lot of women who just put themselves to the bottom of the pile. And, so I'll just keep going. I'll just keep showing up. And I need to do this for this. I can't possibly, I don't have time. So there is so much of that. And until you can make that time, it's very difficult to make time for everything else. So that's one of my big areas, because I hear it so often from people, I just don't have time to do that.
But can I just ask, sorry, is that because they've got kids, or is that in general?
I mean, some of them have kids, some of them have careers, some of them may have, elderly parents, caring responsibilities. It seems to be across the board from the clients I've spoken to. Or they just don't know how to sort of find that time for themselves and what to do. So whether to do some exercise, whether to go to a class, whether to connect with people. Right. So I really enjoy exploring that with them, and just seeing those little nuggets that sometimes appear. Just saying, actually, I used to go to a Pilates class, and I really enjoyed that. And I noticed I didn't have joint pain when I went to did my stretching, and I felt better, and I felt calmer, and I slept better. So the knock-on effects from these little things that they do can have such a big impact. So that is one, is just helping them to kind of explore that. Sleep as well. It's a big area.
Yeah.
That we talk about, because obviously sleep can be so disrupted in perimenopause. There's lots of things that can help. Phones are showing up a lot for women as a sort of way of escaping. And and they're affecting people's sleep, so they're not having that calm time in the evenings, and then they're not sleeping well. So sleep is big too. That seems to show up a lot, and nutrition and snacking. I know you had a really interesting episode a couple of weeks ago about nutrition.
Yeah.
But just hearing how many people are relying on sugar.
To get sugar monsters. Yeah.
And I really like looking at sort of the knock-on effect of, and we could talk about breakfast in a bit, but breakfast and how you start your day and what the effect of that is for the rest of the day. That seems to come up a lot for clients as well. So lots of different areas that show up, and often people will arrive thinking they're going to talk about one thing. When they start unraveling it all comes out.
No, I really like that. I do really like that, because it is about prioritizing yourself, because like you said, a lot of women don't do that. And especially if you've got a busy job, that comes first. You've got kids, they come first. If you've got a dog who just came in the room and I've got a cushion on the floor, I had to move the cushion because she likes running off with the cushions and destroying them. So that's what I was doing just a second ago. Just a little bugger. Yeah, no, I really like that. And the sleep.
And I think, sorry to interrupt. I think in perimenopause, if you don't start to look after yourself, it spirals. You start to feel worse. You might, you may have no energy, then you have no energy to exercise, and it all has a knock-on effect. So there is so much around just making that little bit of time for you, and then it gives you the energy to move on and improve a different area of your life. So
I really like that. And in part 2, we are going to come back to those, and Imogen might have some tips for you at home. So don't worry about that. We'll come back to it. But yeah, sleep, very important. I personally find that if I don't get good sleep, that's it. My food's not on point the next day. Everything's not on point. It's a big deal, sleep. And you don't realise it. You do not realise it, because before it's almost like you got away with it. Remember, you used to go out clubbing and coming in at 6 a.m. and going straight out to work.
Yeah.
I'll do that
2 hours sleep.
Try and do that now. I'd be gone for about 2 months after, I reckon. Wouldn't be able to do that. I'd fall asleep in the club.
It's a 2-day recovery now, I think, isn't it, from a bad night's sleep. And alcohol, and the intolerance of alcohol.
Yeah,
that I see as well in perimenopause is just changes how people can deal with it. Really,
I've got to ask a question. I'm not a parent. I'm a dog mummy. But what is it with women and wine is it like a stress? Do they use it to relax of a night? I've got this image of women coming home and getting a bottle of plonk out the fridge.
I don't think it's happening as much after 40. I mean, I know that in COVID, when I was at home with my toddler, I occasionally could swig it from the bottle from the fridge. So that did happen. And then I think I had a word with myself. I thought,
you thought enough's enough.
On a Tuesday. This is not the way forward.
Enough's enough. Okay. So
I think it's changed now.
Yeah. No, you can't get away with it. You've got to get this skin looking good. It's going to take a good couple of days sleep, not just 2 hours. So I know at the moment you're doing a big thing on blood sugar. So can we talk about that for a little bit, and maybe save all the good stuff for part 2, like how women can control their blood sugar. But I'd like to ask you why you're delving into that. What's the reason?
I'm really interested in blood sugar. When we've got level blood sugar, our energy is level. We're not having those kind of dips and those slumps that tend to happen at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Mood can be improved. And also we just eat so much sugar. There's so much sugar in pasta and breads that can raise our blood sugar and then make it drop again. And it's those unsteady levels throughout the day that can have such an impact on us. So if we have level blood sugar starting at breakfast, then, we're not going to get that 11 o'clock hunger level that really, makes you want to reach for a biscuit. We're not going to have those ragey kind of crossings when we're really hungry. So so there's a lot to be said for having level sugar throughout the day.
Let's go breakfast, because I've always been a breakfast girl. Always. I've never skipped breakfast, never, unless I'm ill or got diarrhea. They're the only 2 times, because so that's me. But I also know the importance of breakfast. I know people that I know that a lot of women skip breakfast. And not because they're trying to lose weight, but because they're rushing, or they just eat something not at the right time. Is that something that you've found in your experience?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of women who have pretty bad breakfasts. They may be having nothing. They may not be until 11 o'clock, and then they're starving, so they grab whatever they can. There's a lot around breakfast, and people just not quite approaching it the way they could do better, I guess. They could.
Blood sugar levels, kind of symptoms. You mentioned mood. Obviously, that's a massive one with blood sugar. I think we've all been there when we've gone past the time and we start getting a little bit aggy with other people around us. So yes, we will talk about this in part 2, but for what are we looking at roughly? How many hours apart from a meal before blood sugar levels can start to get a bit erratic?
I guess it depends on what you've eaten as well. The advice would be to try and eat something every sort of 3 to 4 hours. But I know that if I ate something carby for breakfast, I would be hungry in 2 or 3 hours, I would say. Yeah. But if we're having a decent breakfast, the chances are we'll get through to dinner with no problem. Sleep as well. So if you're having something sugary at bedtime, the chances are you're going to wake up at 3 o'clock feeling starving, or feeling a bit wired and things, because your blood sugar is playing havoc throughout the night. And then there's obviously the long-term kind of chronic conditions that can start, like diabetes as well. So when we, when our body works to lower blood sugar, then that's when cortisol can be released as well. So that's a lot of that is responsible for the, your fat around the tummy.
In the meno belly, as everyone calls it, or as I call it, the one pack. We had a conversation the other day, me and Paula, we call it the one pack because it can be quite impressive. I mean, if you see a guy with a meno belly, it's like, that's like years of work, isn't it? Lots of beer drinking and everything. But if you see a woman, it's, you can see that they have got a meno belly. We're not talking about if someone's overweight. We're talking about how it forms, where it starts forming for, just under the rib cage and then all the way through the abdominal. It's scary stuff, really. And women don't understand how bad that is for them. And what complications it can cause.
It comes from nowhere sometimes, that belly as well. It just, one day it's not there and then the next it's just formed.
What, overnight you wake up and you're like, what's happened to my belly? But yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, I mean, I've never had fat on my tummy, a lot of fat, but in my postmenopause, I kind of had depression for a little while, so I was reaching for stuff, and I developed a meno belly, and I looked at myself in the mirror, and first of all, I thought, what the hell? And second of all, I was like, this is what everyone's talking about, because it literally, like I said, it came from under my rib cage. I looked like one of those guys that's been out, drinking lager, and I thought, this is just like bizarre, but that's because all those foods that I started eating to get through my mood, if you like, were not doing me any good, and obviously caused me a lot of harm, which I've managed to kind of like get under control now. So the meno's gone. Haven't got a 6-pack yet, but who cares about that? But at least it's not a 1-pack anymore.
Good for you.
But
I mean, a lot of it is stress related as well. They talk a lot about the cortisol that can cause that tummy fat, and as you say, it's not a good place to carry fat around your tummy. It can be quite dangerous. So, getting stress levels under control is one area that can help as well. Just think about what is causing you stress. Is it lack of sleep as well? I'm having too much sugar. Is that not helping? So lots of different areas. I know that there is some evidence, I think, I'm not very clued up on this, about estrogen and the kind of meno belly and how estrogen can help. So, it may be that HRT may play an impact and support things.
Maybe.
Perhaps.
I mean, I do know that estrogen controls the way where the fat moves in the body. So if you do lose the estrogen, it will stop it. It will go to one place where it's battled before to get it. But I think what's also interesting is that lots of these cravings that we get, we develop before menopause or perimenopause. I say menopause, but I just mean everything in general, really, when I say that. Is that before, when we would get these noises in our brain? I'm not talking food noises. I'm talking about cravings and feeling full. They tend to go down as well, which is why a lot of women start to get all these cravings and start reaching for stuff, because the stop button's not there anymore. So, like you said, lack of sleep is not going to help. These hormonal imbalances are going to stop you from feeling fuller. They're going to, stop you from feeling great. So it's a really big deal, isn't it?
Yeah. And really, I mean, I would always just support just eating well. Just thinking about, what is the stuff in my diet that I can cut out? Is it the processed foods? Am I eating too much sugar? Am I having too much caffeine, alcohol? And just going back to a really sensible way of eating, getting your proteins in, balancing your blood sugars, just no fancy diets. I don't generally go in for fasting. I know some people really rate fasting, but just thinking about what could change, what could be a more sensible way to approach my diet in my 40s, because it's much harder to shift the weight.
Yeah. And I think that's the key factor, is in your 40s, because what you did in your 20s, You can't do, oh, who's that? Unmute yourself, Carol. Unmute yourself. She's going, Hello, can you unmute?
I mean, can't you hear me, guys?
We don't want to hear you. That's the problem.
Oh, no, you said unmute. Can you unmute? She meant mute.
Mute yourself. Right, I'm muting you. He's mute
me.
I'm muting you. I might leave that in, actually. That's quite funny. I think when you get to a certain age, you forget how difficult it is to eat something that you used to eat in your 20s. It has a different response now. And you don't understand the damage that it does as well. But, okay, so we've talked about a little bit about cravings and blood sugar. And you mentioned lifestyle. Is that from your own experience, or because when you talked about yourself earlier, you mentioned that you changed what you was doing.
I did change what I was doing. Yes. So when I realised that it was perimenopause, everything that was going on for me in terms of the anxiety, the so all the strange symptoms that were happening. The palpitations, high blood pressure because I was so anxious. There was loads going on, and it took such a long time to work it out. And then once I got my HRT, that was when I felt at a point that I could actually start making some lifestyle changes. And I knew from my reading, because obviously I didn't have many friends who had hit a similar point as me. So I was having to really find things out myself. Because I was much younger than most of my friends who, were going through perimenopause. Then I came to realise that lifestyle was the way that I was going to feel better. The HRT helped me get to that point that I could start to make some actual changes, have that energy to do things. So, so I think it was then that I discovered exercise, and I was doing little bits and bobs before, but I realised that exercise wasn't just about, doing a class so that I looked a bit thinner and, felt better about myself. It was to get that headspace and to, have that time for me to help with the anxiety. So that was one massive lifestyle change. And then do things like yoga and Pilates and having that that space and that quiet and that breathing as well. I think with perimenopause, I was such an anxious person and breathing was all over the show, and my joints hurt. So doing little things like that began to kind of tick off the symptoms, to give me something that helped. And just to feel like I was functioning again. I think so long in perimenopause, you sit with all those symptoms and that anxiety and that worry and thinking, what's wrong with me? What have I got today? Is this something awful? So it took a long time, though, to build up that toolkit and to work out what I needed. And I think that's why I'm so passionate about working with women now, because I know what it feels like to be a bit lost in there, to just know I need to do something. I know I need to do something, but I don't know what it is. I don't know how to do it. I just feel really lost in the fog of perimenopause. So there is so much to be said for lifestyle changes that support stress and anxiety, energy, and to help that overwhelm as well. If you've got if you can go swimming, we have an outdoor pool near us, which is really nice. So
I thought you was going to say you had an outdoor pool. I was going so like we should have come to you.
I'm not in that set, I'm afraid. In the north, no, we have an outdoor pool near us. So I know when I need a reset, I go to that outdoor pool because it's bloody freezing.
Yes, yes. You'd like Nikki. You'd like Nikki. Nikki loves a nice bath.
Oh, okay. But just to reset the nervous system, if you can have that half hour, just come out and just think, I can deal better with things today. The systems and that. So it's, for me, it's about helping women, or, helping myself to identify what I need. What do I need today? What is the lifestyle change, that I can put into place just to help me get through if my symptoms are all over the place.
I love that. I love that, because I think that's quite similar to what doctors are trying to do now. So if someone goes in and they say, I feel depressed, they say, okay, here's some tablets, but also go out and do so. I think they're prescribing exercise now. They're trying to get them into gyms, do stuff. So there's a lot to be said for lifestyle. And
lifestyle medicine, I think it's known as.
Oh, is that what it's called? Oh, it's got a name now. So, yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, and there's the social prescribing as well, where they're prescribing sort of groups and connection and getting out to things as well. So, and this is where I guess health coaching comes in, because the NHS you get 7 minutes in with your GP now,
if you're lucky. I mean, I got about 60 seconds after waiting 40 minutes the other week. And so it must be an up north thing, because down south, your bum don't even touch the seat and you're done.
I think it probably varies, doesn't it?
It varies.
What your thing is. But, in 7 minutes, you can't chat through what exercise could you do? How can you improve your nutrition? Are you sleeping okay? There's so many different elements that make such a big difference to people. And it may be that they don't need certain sets of tablets because they perhaps need somebody to sit with them and help think about what could change, where they can bring in extra elements to support themselves. So, yes, I mean, sadly, we're not all. Some areas do have health coaches within their GP practices, but not in everyone.
Not yet.
No,
but that's why you're here, Imogen. That's why you're here. So thank you very much for that first half. I've thoroughly enjoyed talking to you, and I'm just going to let everyone know what's coming up in part 2. So part 2, we are menopause dinners, as you know. So yes, there's going to be some food. Imogen has supplied a recipe, and I've made it. And we're going to reveal next time whether I liked it or not, what score I gave it. So sit tight for that. We've got some questions from our audience and also some lifestyle tips to help you improve your perimenopause on stuff that we've talked about today. And if there's anything else, we'll throw that in too. So yes, it will be a good subject. So please do come back. So I just want to say thank you to Imogen.
You're very welcome.
I hope you've enjoyed yourself in part 1. We've enjoyed having you. Two claps there. You're lucky. Not everyone gets 2 claps. Okay. Oh, someone's putting a clap in the text for you there. Okay, so don't forget to like, rate or subscribe on any of the platforms you are listening to. Did you know you can also send us a text function via the podcast? You can send us a text, yes, to let us know how we're doing. So please do let us know, or even on the socials, get in touch. There's now a monetization button as we are non-profit, so every little bit helps. So before you go, my final thought for you is menopause sucks. But with friends, it sucks a whole lot less. We'll see you next time on Menopause Dinners. Menopause Dinners is sponsored by Fitness Therapy for You. We'd like to thank Redbridge Sports and Leisure for the use of the room podcast sessions. Information we have on food and supplementations from our own experiences, so please get medical advice if you are suffering from a medical condition.